Alright, good morning, everybody. So, I'm here to read chapter 3 of Farsighted, but I just want to make a uh, little, a little, like, free thing before I read. This book is written in Old Braille. I know that probably a lot of my viewers won't be visually impaired, but this Braille is written in the Braille that I haven't read in a long time. There's United Braille for for um for Europe and all the Braille that people use, and so this Braille is written in old Braille um that they had changed to make it the same as the Braille that people use in Europe and other countries that speak English. So in America used to have its own type of Braille, and then you would go to Europe, like the UK or something, and their Braille would look different because, it's Europe, and Europe does things a bit differently in terms of that. But, some of those countries would still speak English. So after a while, they were like, yeah, let's change our Braille to be the same as Europe. So that way, when people from America go to UK or Canada or anywhere that speaks English, they can understand what's happening. Um, if you need to read an elevator in the UK, you want to be able to understand what they're saying or whatever. You know, you want to understand their symbols, their numbers, their their quotation marks, their punctuation, their all that stuff. Anyway, so if I read and it sounds really choppy or slow or whatever, that is why. I was feeling like super self-conscious because I didn't think that my voice acting for this book, was as good as the one I did for After the Rain. So I just wanted to make a explanation so that way people wouldn't be like, oh, why are you reading like that? Why do you sound like that when you read? Alright, so here we go, on to chapter 3. Chapter 3. Until he is able to accept his destiny, the traveler will face great difficulties. He must continue forth, despite his fear, and know the battles will ultimately strengthen him. I sulk into school the next day, irritated about my brain malfunctioning lately and embarrassed by how I've acted around Simi. The last thing I need is more problems. I head into first period attempting to disappear. No such luck. You better watch yourself, Cosmotaurus, Brady Evans growls. I wasn't even aware he had entered the classroom, but now here he is, uncomfortably close to my desk. I don't say anything. I don't want to encourage him. Even the slightest word taken out of context might set him off. The bell rings, but the teacher hasn't come in yet. The other students are milling about, whispering excitedly. You're lucky you're a cripple freak, Brady says. Why is he still here? I didn't do anything to make him angry. Some of the students start taunting Brady, telling him to throw a punch at me. Brady laughs, clearly he loves the attention. After a moment the whispering stops. Brady's moved away from my desk so fast I hardly even realized it. I decide to let the whole thing go. But then footsteps come toward me again, carrying with them the scents of Axe deodorant spray and dried sweat. Brady seems intent on a confrontation. Well, I wouldn't want to disappoint him. Slowly, I nudged the end of my cane across the seat. Um, I nudged the end of my cane across my seat. I, Let me start over. Slowly, I nudged the end of my cane across my seat and into the aisle, not sticking, not sticking out far enough to be noticed, but still far enough to get in the way. Thud, thud. Brady trips and falls hard, headlong on the aisle. Ha! Always wanted to do that. Sometimes blindness comes in handy. No one would ever guess this was an accident. No one would ever guess this wasn't an accident. You better watch yourself, Cosmotaurus. Brady growls, back on his feet now. You better watch yourself, Evans, I hiss back, drawing out the S at the end of Evans. I'm a venomous cobra, ready to spring at the slightest hint of danger. The bell rings. Wait, didn't the bell already ring? Haven't I been here before? The other students in the class are milling about, whispering excitedly. You're lucky you're a crippled freak, alright, Brady says. Or what? I challenge, rising to my feet while wrapping my knuckles around the handle of my cane and solidifying my grip. I've had enough, and besides, what have I got to lose by standing up to him? If anything, a fight with Brady could improve my social standing. The whispering grows louder. Some of the students start taunting Brady, telling him to throw a punch at me. Brady laughs arrogantly. Or I'd make you sorry. He cracks his knuckles, as if his words weren't clear enough. I'm not a cripple, but I am going to make you sorry, I shout, bringing the end of my cane down hard on Brady's toes. I can tell it stung, but Brady doesn't make a noise. Doesn't make any noise to indicate it. He's too much of a tough guy. Instead, he punches me in the stomach. I didn't feel anything except a pulsing pain in my middle and anger, a lot of anger. I raise my cane again and thwack, I hit Brady higher up, his face, his neck, I don't care, as long as it hurts. This time he cries out in pain. Now I'm laughing. This is what he deserves, since he just since he couldn't leave me alone. The teacher comes into the classroom. Her sweet body spray trails her. The other students grow quiet, waiting to find out what she'll do. Brady punches me in the nose. There's a crack as he makes contact with the bone. Blood spurts out of my nostrils and flows into my mouth. Guess I've gotten my daily dose of iron now. I almost throw up. But before I can, the teacher pulls me and Brady out of the classroom by the collars of our shirts. She forces us down the hall toward the principal's office. Once there, we're separated and forced to sit quietly until our parents arrive. I feel like such a little kid. Brady's lucky that we're apart. Otherwise, I'd cane him again. Dad rushes into the office, totally frantic. Alex, he calls out. He spots me and comes over to where I'm sitting, holding the tissue to my nose in order to staunch the flow of the blood. Alex, what happened? Are you okay? Nothing, I grumble. I'm fine. Doesn't look like you are to me. Tell me what happened. Dad, I don't want to talk about it, I yell. God, leave me alone already. For once, he doesn't. For once, he doesn't press the issue. Instead, he walks over to the secretary's desk and thumbs through some pamphlets about about bleh, peer pressure, drug, drugs, and abstinence. I asked the secretary about them last year when I knocked them onto the floor while handing her a doctor's note. Dad fiddles with the papers, continuously, folding them and really, really grating on my nerves. After what seems like an eternity, Mrs. Evans arrives. A cloud of expensive smelling perfume floats after her as she hurries toward Brady and starts fussing over his injuries. Of course she's not mad at him at all. Any woman who's given birth to someone as awful as Brady can't be a good person. The door to the interior office opens. There we go. And Principal Palermo calls us in. I drag myself into the room, which smells way too much like polished brass for my taste, and take a seat in front of Palermo's desk. Brady does too, and both of our parents hover over us. The temperature rockets a few degrees from the nervous energy. Boys, this school has a zero-tolerance rule toward fighting, our principal says, with a tinge of reproach in her voice. But what if you're acting in self-defense? I ask, crossing my arms over my chest and shifting my face toward the far wall. There's no way I was going to let Brady get the first word in. Self-defense? Brady protests, standing up and slapping his hand across his chest like an insane gorilla. He landed the first blow, and the second. If anyone was acting in self-defense, it was me. Sit down, Mr. Evans, and both of you keep quiet. Like I said, we have a zero-tolerance rule, so I'm sorry, but both of you are suspended for the rest of the school week. For the rest of the week? But that's not fair. He started the whole thing. Look at me. Look at my nose. It must look horrible. Who beats up a blind kid? I mean, really? You weren't playing the blind card earlier when you hit me across the face with that stupid stick of yours. Brady growls under his breath. Alex, did you really do that? Alex, did you really do that? Did you fight? Dad asks. Only because he started it. He just came up and said, You'd better watch it. I try to make my voice sound deep and deep and idiotic like Brady's. Because you tripped me. It was an accident. Yeah, right. An accident? Brady mocks, emphasizing the word accident in a whiny twang. Is that how he thinks I sound? It was an accident. I pout, slumping back into my chair and gripping the arms with my hands to keep from yelling again. Enough from both of you, the principal interjects. Several other students were around at the time, and enough. Several other students were around at the time of the fight. Each has told your teachers what happened individually, and the stories match up. We don't need any more from either of you. I kick at the floor in frustration. Of course they took his side. They're all his friends. Alex, Dad warns, your principal told you to keep quiet, and I think you'd better listen. Mrs. Palermo, please, could you tell us what happened? The principal sucks in a deep breath and tells her version of the altercation to our parents. Whether on purpose or by accident, Alex tripped Brady with his cane. Brady and Alex exchanged threats. Brady made a derogatory comment about um, Alex's special needs, and Alex said he was going to make him sorry. He used his cane to hit Brady in the foot and across the face. Brady struck Alex in the stomach and on the nose. Their teacher came in before the fight could escalate any further, and now here we are. Is this true? Dad asks me, his voice full of concern. It's obvious he's putting on an act for the principal. He doesn't really care. Yes, whatever, yeah, whatever, I mumble. No one believes me about Brady having started the fight. I'm not even sure if I believe me. I'm not even sure if I believe me. What was the strange sense of deja vu that it's clouding everything? I told you, Mom. I told you, Mom. He's just jealous of me and my friends. Because he can't control himself. And he can't control himself. Brady whines. Ugh, he thinks I'm jealous. I would never want to be like Brady or his lackeys. They're all big, stupid gorillas without an original thought among the lot of them. I'd rather die than be like Brady, and that's the truth. Both parties are to blame, no matter who the instigator was, Mrs. Palermo says. I'll see you boys next week, and I hope you can control yourselves better during the rest of the school year. We pride ourselves on the... I'm so furious, I need to leave before I whack Brady in his stupid face a second time. I get up and stomp out while the principal's still making her boring motivational speech. What's the worst that can happen? Dad's already going to ground me for weeks, if not months, and I doubt a 3.5 day suspension is enough to make me calm down and forget how much I hate Brady. Now that I'm suspended, my only option is to hang around Sweet Blossoms with Mom and for the entire day. I begin to read ahead for English out of boredom. The rest of my books for first semester came in last night, and Mom picked them up for me. All 50-some volumes are at home, except for the two I brought with me today. Romeo and Juliet looks stupid, so I start in on the Odyssey. Not something I would ordinarily choose to read, but I really, really am bored. Mom's surprised I got into a fight, but not angry. She knows how the other kids act with me, and she seems to be proud that I chose to defend myself for a change. After blotting at my nose and fussing over me, she gave me a little talk about being respectful with my actions and left it at that. She's much more understanding than Dad. He's still acting weird. I'm glad he I'm glad he's off for work, because frankly, I can't stand being around him lately. Mom hums a peppy little tune and pieces together floral arrangements and for funerals. It's sad somebody died, but funerals are great for business, especially since Sweet Blossoms is the only florist within miles of in our small little town. I'd help, but I haven't got the eyes for these things. I tend to put a bunch of things that smell good together. Mom says they look nice, but I can hear her rearranging them. Instead, I'm sitting on a bench in the bay window at the front of the store, dragging my left index finger across the bumpy pages of my book. Hey, I read with my left index finger too. Cool. I'm at the part where Telemachus, Telemachus, Telemachus tries to go and find his dad, Odysseus, even though the dad's been gone for 20 years. I don't understand how he's going to find him since Telemachus has no idea where his dad is or even what he looks like. I guess it kind of I guess it would kind of be like me trying to search for my dad. He's at a huge disadvantage. And I'm contemplating whether I would even try to find dad, provided he got lost and all. When the door jingles an off-schedule holiday greeting. I assume somebody's here for an arrangement for funeral flowers, but I'm wrong. Alex? Simmy's sweet, nutty presence approaches. Hi, Simmy. I stand to get her. I stand to greet her and slap the covers of my books together before I can remember to bookmark the page. I try to focus on draining the color from my cheeks. How embarrassing. Um, uh, can I help you with something? Do you need flowers? No, nothing like that. I heard what happened in first period. I came to bring you your makeup homework for chemistry and history. If you tell me what your other classes are, I can bring you the work from them too. I accept the pages from Simi's soft hand. If the thickness is any indication, she's taken very detailed notes for me. Thanks. You didn't have to. It's no problem. I, um, I've only, I've only been at this school for 2 days, and already I can tell Brady Evans is not a nice person. She pauses, and I hear her shift weight from one foot to another and scratch at her elbow. It won't, uh, it won't be a problem? What? The notes. You're able to read them, right? Oh, yeah, Dad can type them up on our Braille printer at home. No big deal. Neither of us say anything for a few awkward moments. Is that a Braille book? Simi asks. I'm guessing she means the Odyssey. Yeah. You ever see one of these before? No. Besides the cover of your chemistry book, yesterday, I mean. Do you mind if I take a look? Go ahead, I say, tossing the spiral-bound first volume over to her. It hits her body with a thud. Note to self, don't throw books at girls. She opens it, turns a few pages, and is quiet. I wonder if she's sliding her finger over the bumps. Always been curious, she says at last, placing the book back on the bench seat. Is that Braille the same everywhere? I mean, if I want to read a book in Braille, but I speak, but I speak Hindi or Japanese instead of English, is it the same no matter what? I think this over for a moment. I have no idea what the answer to her question is, but I need to come off sounding smart. Giving it my best shot, I answer, I'm not sure. Actually, I've never learned any language besides English. I guess it's different for every language, but well, you know, um, each Braille character represents a character from the English alphabet in English. I pick up the Odyssey to make my point. See this? I say, pointing to the first letter on the title page. This combination of bumps placed exactly like this represents the letter H. And this one here is an O. And this is M. And this last one here is for E and R together. I hold the book back up to Simi so she can run her finger across the word. Homer, she says. My first word in Braille. Yeah, I laugh. Something about this girl sends nervous energy tingling through my chest and arms. I guess it kind of is. Simi doesn't say anything, but she also doesn't leave. I don't know what else to say, so I wait for her to speak. Finally, she does. Alex, I was wondering. I hope you don't mind me asking. I was. I just want to understand. I can't tell what she's getting at. Oh, sorry. I can. I can tell what she's getting at before she asks the question. It's the same one everybody has. I save her awkwardness. I save her the awkwardness of asking and give her my answer right away. Yes, I've always been this way. I was born blind. I didn't see shapes or shadows, just blackness. I don't know what it's like to be able to see inside. To see, I don't know what it's like to be able to see, so I don't miss it. This is just the way I am. Simi shuffles her feet. She's embarrassed for me, but wants to know more. You want to know why I'm this way? I offer. She doesn't say anything. Do you? I repeat. Oh, sorry. I nodded my head. Yes. Yes. Yes, I want to know. If you're willing to tell me. Well, my mom grew up in a really small rural town. Way smaller than this. Way smaller than Way smaller than Grandin, if you can believe it. The people there were farmers, and they were homeschooled, and they just lived the simple life. I've told this story a million times, but mostly to teachers and doctors. Explaining my story to Simi isn't much different. She smells nicer, though. So that has to count for something. And that didn't include getting all these vaccinations that you're supposed to get as a baby. I continue. Grandma and Grandpa say that Grandma and Grandpa say that milk straight from the cow cures everything. They're wrong, but that's besides the point. Well, when my mom was pregnant with me, she got sick with the German measles. She could have gotten a shot. She could have gotten a shot to prevent it as a kid, but she didn't, and that's why I was born the way that I was and am. Is anything else? No, nothing else is wrong with me. Healthy as a farm horse. Thanks for telling me. Yeah, anytime, I say, jumping to a new topic so that we can be done talking about this. I don't want to appear as I don't want to appear as less than normal to Simi. Hopefully, now, hopefully she can consider me even better than normal with time. Are you sure you're okay bringing my schoolwork by like this? I mean, my mom or dad can always stop over and pick it up. Simi exhales. She must be relieved at the topic change too. No, I don't mind. I'll be over here most days after school anyway. Um, Mummy visits Miss Teak a lot. Why? I think she's kind of creepy, I say, unable to suppress a shiver. I mean Miss Teak, I clarified just in case, not your mom. I guess Mummy misses back home in India, and Miss Teak reminds her of it. How come? The music? I say, recalling mysterious, the mysterious melody playing in the recording yesterday. No, no, not the music. She laughs a little, and I grimace at having appeared stupid once again. It's because psychics are very common in India. People believe what they say and talk to them for guidance. But here, nobody seems to believe in magic. They're okay. They're okay with believing only what they can see. They don't know how to. They don't know how to. They don't know how special the unseen can be sometimes. Magic? Well, not the magic exactly, but something otherworldly that can't be explained by science. I thought you liked science. You're the only other sophomore in Dr. Brown's class, I point out. I do like science, but I also like things that can't be explained by science. Oh, okay, I say in confusion. It makes sense to me, Simi says, because I grew up believing. You may take some time getting used to it all, but I think one day you'll be able to appreciate the unknown like I do. Why do you think that? Because you don't have a choice, do you? She says, with a half chuckle. Uh-oh. Does she know about the things that's been going on in my head? Otherwise, why would she say something like that? I must be showing my emotions on my face again, because Simi says, Mystique's shop is right next to your mom. Your mom's. She jabs me playfully on the shoulder. A rush of calm and happiness spreads throughout my body, like getting hit with a like getting hit like a like getting hit with a tranquilizer dart in a really good way. You're going to encounter it every single day. You're bound to get curious sooner or later. A car honks from the parking lot. I need to go. Simi's voice recedes as she heads toward the door. But I'll be back tomorrow. Bye. The bell jingles and she's gone. Bye, I whisper as her coconut hair recedes into the outside world. A friend. I finally made a friend. I whittled the days away until Friday, the last day of my suspension. Simi has come by to bring my schoolwork every day at 4 o'clock. Her arrivals sync. Her arrival. Her arrivals sync almost perfectly with the cu- with the with the cuckooing of Mom's old-fashioned clock. She stays while her mom chats with Miss Teak and leaves something like 20 minutes later. During the daytime, I worked my way through the Odyssey. I've gotten to the part where Odyssey I've gotten to the part where Odysseus meets the princess and the goddess. Anna makes him look Anna and the goddess Athena makes him look especially good, so the hot young princess will like him. I wish I had a goddess dying things like that for I wish I had a goddess doing things like that for me. Odysseus has all the luck. Everywhere he goes, princesses and goddesses throw themselves at him. Getting jealous of some ancient fictional character is pretty lame, but I can't help it. I don't need a handful I don't need a handful of women fawning over me. I just need one. Simi. There's something about her I can't resist. The way she smells, the sound of her accented voice, how she makes me feel like everything will be all right, that my problems don't matter anymore. And I don't just like her because she's the only girl, well, the only person who will talk to me at school. It's something more than that. Whenever I'm not reading the Odyssey or helping mom with chores around the shop, my thoughts zoom to Simi. She's like a proton. She's like a proton, and my thoughts are an electron, and it's neutral, and it's natural for the two of us, the way that we come together. Can't be avoided. I think about the types of things I might be able to talk to her about, and just about her, and just about her in general. And for some reason, she trusts Miss Teague. If this weird psychic lady is good enough for Simi, then she's good enough for me. Besides, being forced to hang out in this strip mall all day without anything major to keep me busy, my curiosity has gotten the best of me. Hey mom, I call. I'm gonna head next door and see if Miss Teague needs help with like unpacking anything like that. Bet she knows where I am, just in case bet she knows where I am, just in case my initial instincts were, were spot on. And by heading in, I'm putting myself in danger. How sweet of you, my little sapling, Mom Mom coos. I sigh, embarrassed, even though nobody was around to hear. Outside, a cool rush of wind chafes my face. It's barely September, but winter is on the way. A stray leaf blows up and hits me on the cheek. I huddle, I huddle, I, I huddle forward to block out the cold air and rush to Miss Teague's shop. Hello? I call. Who are you? An unfamiliar girl's voice asks. I'm Alex. Who are you? Shapri, she says, matter of factly, with a bit of a with a bit of a twang. With a bit of a twang. I gather she's not a native. I gather she's not a native Midwestern. Hey, aren't you the fifth period, Ken? She asks. That Dr. Brown? Yeah. Are you? I don't remember you being there. Well, weren't you around for like a day and then you got suspended for fighting? A rush of tiny vibrations force upon my face. A rush of tiny vibrations forces upon my face. Huh. That means Shapri's gotta be looking at me. Oh, he's got that feeling. Okay. I wonder what she thinks about the appearance of my blotchy. I wonder what she thinks about the appearance of my blotchy, swollen nose. Yeah, I guess. I sigh and run my finger across that big old trunk I thrummed my foot into the other day. The layer of dust is gone. So, what are you doing here? Shapri asks, walking closer to me, her steps shuffling. her step her steps muffled by the carpeting. She picks up an object from the trunk, knocking the knocking the knocking the stand aside. I assume this is the same crystal ball that created the scene earlier this week. I was just bored. My mom owns the florist shop next door. Oh, sweet blossoms. I also, I like that place. She puts the ball down somewhere else. What are you doing in here? My mom owns this shop, she says with a yawn as she stretches her arms over her head and sends bursts of her grassy fragrance my way. She sure does move around a lot, and the coming and going of her voice is making me dizzy. Aren't you supposed to be in school? I feel like a lame goody two-shoes asking. Well, yes, but I'm helping Mom get everything set up here. I, well, took a sick day. Don't tell anyone at school I'm not really sick. She sits down on what sounds like a beanbag chair, the contents reordering themselves to accommodate the added weight of her body. I won't, I assure her. So you're Miss Teak's daughter? Is Teak your real last name? Yeah. Why wouldn't it be? She's gone from happy-go-lucky to edge in a matter of seconds. Well, I say, choosing my words carefully, so as to not offend, so as to not add to her bad temper. Well, well, it seems too perfect, Miss Teak. Give me a mystique and all. Seems made up, you know, Miss Teak. Well, it's not, Shapri says, with a huff, standing up again. So now she's taken offense to my harmless question. Okay. All right. Since she's already upset, I might as well ask the question that I most wanted to ask. Anyway. So, are you a psychic too? No. She takes a deep breath. And Mom isn't either. It's just a bunch of made up crap. Yeah, I don't believe in it either. I say, sinking into the abandoned beanbag chair. Well, not sinking exactly. The motion is the motion is so mechanical, like an underoiled robot. I place my cane on the floor and put my hands behind my head, trying to relax. Shapri stares at me for a long time. She doesn't know I'm able to sense things like that when people do it. This happens all the time. This people staring at me. It isn't fair since I'm not able to stare back. Where are you from? I asked, trying to break her gaze. It works. She paces toward the other side of the shop and picks something up and runs her fingers across it. Hurt goes the deck cards. Goes a deck of cards. What makes you think I'm not from around here? Well, you're new to the school, and this is a small town. Plus, you talk with an accent. I do? She asks, shuffling the deck absent-mindedly. I guess I do. I'm from New Orleans. Where's that? I asked, trying to get a rise out of her. Really? You don't know where New Orleans is? I sigh as if to say no, all the while suppressing my urge to laugh. It's Louisiana, home of Mardi Gras and the Saints. Most haunted city in the U.S. Not to mention, we were hit by a massive hurricane a few years ago. The coverage, the coverage was all over the news. I sit still without an indication of hearing of. I sit still without giving any indication of recollection. Wow, you're really making me worry about the quality of my new school, she says, walking toward me. I can't tell whether she's being sarcastic or not. Take a card, she commands, bringing the deck close to my face. I hesitate before reaching forward and locating the deck, and then grab a card from the middle of the bunch. From the middle of the bunch, fanned out in front of me. Ah, the chariot, she remarks. What does it mean? There's a struggle. Let me see if I can remember this. Remember this correctly. You'll take a trip and be ripped apart by the opposite forces. Shapri seems proud of herself for having been able to provide the information. So it's not a very good card? I ask with a sarcastic laugh. The back door swings open and a presence enters. No card is good or bad. All tell a story. It's Mystique. It's Mystique. I recognize her voice from the other day. Oh. She drifts over to me and kneels down, cupping her hand over mine and the card that it holds. The card is correct. You will face struggle, both inner and outer. Don't be overcome by the challenge. Stay strong and you will prosper. She pulls her hand away, removing the card too. She takes the remainder of the deck from Shapri and places it into the trunk. With her back toward me, she continues speaking. I believe you. Believe me? I'm beginning to get freaked out. Again. Shapri's a little touchy, but things were going fine until Mystique entered. I know the fight started because you heard the other boys saying cruel things to you. How do you... I begin, but she cuts me off. Be wary. Things are not always as they seem. Sometimes our vision plays tricks on us. What do you mean, our vision plays tricks on us? My vision's always been the same. Everything's black. I can't see anything. Yes, Alex, yes, you can. Not see in a way that is different. You see in a way that is different from others, but still, you see. It's Monday. At last, I'm allowed to return to school after my 3.5-day suspension. Dad's driving me today, since he had to be early for an interview. Anyway, he's been on at least 20 interviews in the last few months, but still no job. I'm beginning to suspect he wants it I'm beginning to I'm beginning to suspect he wants it that way. Somebody should have him. Somebody should have hired him by now. He's been looking long enough. I wonder why he doesn't just. I wonder why he doesn't just suck it up and take take a position at a fast food place. Mom has a Mom has to work so hard to support the family, while Dad drifts back and forth between interviews, wasting money on gas and carrying that stupid, stupid locked briefcase around while accomplishing nothing. Not fair. Nothing more than a few words have passed between us since my fight with Brady. I really hate Dad lately. As he drives the car in silence, rigidly shifting between gears, I reposition my body to face the window, as far from him as possible, and think. I think about facing Brady at school today. I know that I think about Simi, which is easy. She's such a straightforward person and beautiful. The sound of her voice, the smells of her hair and skin, that's what beautiful is to me. I think about Chapri and Mystique and the weird, stupid stuff that's been happening as far as the past few days, which is a bit more of a challenge. I'm still not sure whether I like Chapri. She seems to be all over the place, moving around too much, going from happy to mad and then back again. I know how I feel about Mystique though. Completely and utterly intimidated. If her telling me not to run away from my gifts and about the hard journey I will face to how I see, but not like others, it's all too much, too much. You been going to that psychic shop? Dad says out of nowhere. How would he know? No, I lie. You know I have. Don't listen to anything. Don't listen to anything she says. Dad scolds. I'm in trouble now, apparently. I don't. She freaks me out. Good. And stay away from her daughter, too. She's just like her, he warns, with a flare of his Boston heritage thrown into the mix. I don't say anything. Now I want to hang out with Chapri, just to spite Dad. Maybe I can talk to Chapri at school or invite her over to Sweet Blossoms. Dad's really worked up. He keeps talking. Don't don't put any stock into what those cards say. A bunch of shit. Just like you a bunch of shit if you ask me. How do you know about the cards? I ask. I never told Dad about my drawing the chariot. Dad struggles for a moment. About the chariot. Dad struggles for a moment, making a series of guttural noises, but not saying anything. The temper the temperature in the car rises a few degrees or two. Anxious heat. Okay, your mother told me. Don't tell her. Don't tell her, okay? I shouldn't have said anything. He says it at last, blowing the interior temperature back down. I can't believe she told you, I say, feigning anger. I didn't tell Mom about the chariot. I didn't tell anybody. But I don't want to reveal this information to Dad. He's always had a knack of knowing things and what I'm up to, but lately he's keeping too close of an eye on me. Like he's like he's like he's secretly following me everywhere I go. Well, here we are, at last, Dad says, finally parking our van at the school's curb. Bye. I jump out, not wanting to waste any time getting away from him. Bye, he says as I slam the door. A second later, he speeds off toward what I can only assume is yet what in his string of another assume is yet another in his string of botched job interviews. I get through English just fine. Brady doesn't say a word to me. Nobody does. People must take me more seriously now that they understand that I'm not to be messed with, and I've got the potential to retaliate. I've got a weapon too, one that school won't ever take away from me. I think that scares them a bit. At lunch, I take a seat at the end of a bench table at the far side of the cafeteria. As I'm unpacking my grape jelly and apricot jelly sandwiches, Simi comes and sits down across from me. Hi, Alex, she says. Welcome back. Thanks, I say, sinking my teeth into the sweet, gooey goodness of my sandwich. I think I can now officially consider Simi a friend. I'm glad you're back. Simi takes the top off of a Tupperware box. The strange scent of an unknown food escapes. We're starting labs today in Mr. Brown's, and I need my partner with me. She removes a starchy-smelling bread product from a baggie and tears off a piece. I smile, a dashing, Odyssean smile. Athena, be with me now, and take another bite of my sandwich. Somebody is standing nearby, lurking just beside us. I smell cherry candy. Simi, Simi, quit bugging me. Shut up, yells the voice that sounds like Brady but isn't Brady. Hey, I stand up to face the intruder, swallowing my bit of sandwich. The taste of jelly stays on my tongue. Leave her alone. She hasn't done anything to you. He ignores me and continues. Simi, shut up or I swear I'll... There's a crash. Broken glass. A scream. It all happened so fast. Get down! Get down! I cry. Simi, get down! But my warning comes too late. She's choking, gasping for air, clawing frantically at her throat. I rush to perform the Heimlich maneuver, but I can't get to her. Simi, Simi, I sob. Simi, the voice asks. Simi? Footsteps cross the cafeteria. Simi? He sounds even more frightened than I am. Simmy! 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 He cries over and over and over. He's holding her, jerking her body around in a useless attempt to wake her up. Come back! He cries. Come back, Simmy! Suddenly he's gone. A chorus of laughter rises around me. Brady and his friends are chanting, Simmy, get down! They're making fun. But, but, but this is a serious situation. Shut up! I yell, panting, resisting the urge to break down in tears. Can't you see she's hurt? They laugh even louder. Then Simmy places a hand on my shoulder from behind. No, I'm not, Alex. I'm okay. A wave of relief, a wave of relief crashes into me, followed by an even bigger wave of anxiety. I just heard her. I just heard her die. How can she be all right? Alex, calm down, Simmy says, kneading her fingers into my collarbone. It's all right. I should be upset, confused. It's all right. I should be upset, confused, mortified, but I feel okay. Simmy makes me feel okay. Come on, Alex, let's go to the guidance counselor's office. Everything will be fine. She uses her hold on my shoulder to lead me out of the cafeteria. There's still laughter from the other students, and and but less now. They don't know what's going on. Maybe they think I'm dangerous, that I've lost my mind. Maybe I have. Simi leads me down the hall, while my brain is bombarded by scary thoughts. What just happened? What just happened? Did it even happen? Am I going crazy? Even if I heard of, of them. Okay. Am I going crazy? I've heard about people with sensory hallucinations because of a mental disorder. Am I one of them? A doctor said that measles wouldn't affect any part of me except for my eyes. But was he wrong? Is my brain defective? Oh God, I hope not. It's okay, Alex. Simmy coos. Simmy coos like a dove. Simmy. What if what I experienced was real, but it hasn't happened yet? What if I witnessed the future? Is Simmy in trouble? If she is, I'm I'm the only one who knows. The need to protect her, to keep her safe from the future is huge. As much as it unnerves me, I know I need to seek out Mystique. If anybody can help me, it is her. What with all that talk of destiny, gifts, and not running away, she's got to know something. Luckily, I know exactly where to find her.